Good morning. I hope everything's going great in your world today and that it's just going to be a great week for you. I want to think with you about a story that's found in John chapter 5 today. Jesus had gone down to Jerusalem for one of the feast days, and he went to an area where it was said to be near the sheep gate, a pool that was called Bethesda. And it was surrounded by five covered colonnades. And here it says a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed. And one who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. And Jesus saw him and learned that he had been there in this condition for a long time. And so he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" Such an amazing question. Here's a man that's been invalid maybe all of his life, and maybe he's just 38 years old, or maybe he had a time and then that he was healthy and then became an invalid. But it's just interesting. You've got all of these people gathered around this pool. And the superstition is that an angel comes down and stirs the pool, and the first one that can get in will be healed. And so here they lie day after day, and occasionally the pool is stirred and they rush to try to get in, but this man, being an invalid, without help, is never able to get in first. He said, "Man, I've tried, but someone always gets in ahead of me." But think about that question. Do you want to get well? It's an important question. Because sometimes when we're dealing with problems and sicknesses and ailments in our life and challenges that we're going through, we adjust our life around them and really don't have that great desire anymore to get well. We built a life around those ailments, those problems, and so that seems to be our natural or normal life. So we really don't have a great desire to tear that all apart and build our life on a healthy basis when we've got things established as they are. And so Jesus asked the right question. When we don't want to get well, the reality is there's not a medication that is suddenly going to make us well, even if we were to take it, because the mind typically is more powerful than those medications might be. And so Jesus asked him, "Do you want to get well?" And I wonder what the man first thought. Well, sure. Why would I be here? Why would I try to get into that pool if I didn't want to get well? Sure, I want to get well. And then Jesus says, well, if you want to get well, get up, pick up your mat, and walk. And he healed him. And can you imagine this man, as he has been laying there and struggling with this problem for 38 years. And suddenly the strength comes into his legs and his feet, and he's able to get up and pick up that mat and go walking, and what a relief. But then as he's going along the way, suddenly some people stop him and say, "Hey, you can't be carrying that mat around. It's the Sabbath day." And he said, "Well, look, the man that just healed me told me to take up my mat." Well, who was that man? I don't know. Jesus had gone out through the crowd, and he really didn't know who he was. It's interesting that Jesus found him a little bit later and said to him, "Stop sinning, or worse things are going to happen to you than have already happened to you. Interesting thing. Was he telling him you'll get sick again? I don't know. It may well be that it wasn't talking about physical sickness, but the spiritual illnesses that flow into our life when we allow sin to dwell there, that ultimately bring spiritual death and an eternity in hell. And so there's something far worse than being sick. It's being sick spiritually and allowing sin to rule our life. We need to be the ones that want to be well, all right, but I want to be well physically and spiritually and emotionally. I want to be well all across the scope. In that way, we can be the people that God really longs for us to be. Wouldn't that be great? Just to be able to live that kind of life of wholeness that God desires.